I think we're alive. It looks like we're living. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Good evening, kids. How's it going, every little bitty body out there? Hey, Dr. Quinn. Okay, sounds good. As usual, we're going to start slow here, guys. Let a few more people trickle in. I'm going to make this 7 p.m. stuff work. By golly, I'm going to make it work. I think it's the right move to make. We just have to get a little bit more advertising out there. But until then, it's a small, intimate group. You know, as Richard Pryor used to say, you want to talk about justice? That's right. It's just us. So, how's everybody doing? Dave's on. Good to see you, man. Is my mic on? Check one. Check one. My mic seems on. How am I looking? Okay. All right. So we're just going to start a little slow here, folks. See how people start to come in. Dave, we are going to have to start advertising this a little bit more. It's so... Got to get some more people in. Who's all on right now? Tolowit, thank you for being here. Not quite sure. How does one go about seeing who's all on at any given moment? So I guess we're going to have a short one today here, guys, huh? There it is, participants. Oh, goodness. Me, Dave, Tolowit, and Dr. Quinn. That's it. I once had to teach a class. This was years and years ago. And I taught the class to exactly 2 people. And that was 1997 or 98. So, it's good for my soul. Oh, what is it on my... global drilling support. Yeah, when you live in the oil patch, man, it's going to be that kind of stuff. Hey, Maven, good to see you, man. But hey, if you made the last drama one, you're Heavy D, goodness sakes. Starting to see a couple of faces. Yeah, man, I'm convinced that having an evening show is supposed to work better for people in the States. And it was cracking me up. Dr. Quinn, I forget where you're from, but I know Tolowit's in Hawaii. So, like, what time is it in Hawaii right now? If it's 7? God, I hate to sound stupid. It's like 6 hours. So it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon for you. So that's not bad. Yeah, we're just going to go a little bit slow here. So I got to tell you, man, I think I've got long COVID. I was supposed to, you're in Kansas. Like where, just now you told me in Kansas. Are you in Kansas City, Kansas, or dang near in Colorado, Kansas? I'm just nosy. Suddenly I realized my knowledge of geography is... Maven, oh goodness, what's up with Scott Jernigan? Scott Jernigan no longer works for Total Seminars. We parted company about a year ago. So, yeah. Haven't spoken to him since. Oh, I know where Hays, Kansas is. Or Topeka, Kansas. I know where that is. Sure. I'm embarrassed enough to say I have to look at a calendar real quick. What is directly to the west of Kansas? Is it not Colorado? Am I insane? Yeah, it's Colorado. Okay. Yipe. Okay, good. Sorry, Dr. Quinn. I was going a little bit insane there. Trying to remember where things were. So I also taught a class in Kansas a million years ago. And I remember to get there, I flew into Kansas City and I had to drive due west on I-70, I think it was. And it was a nuclear power plant. I was teaching Novell, believe it or not. And this is before 95. This would have been late 80s. And I remember driving west. And as I'm driving along, the exit was Beto, B-E-T-O. It was the Beto exit on I-70. And that's where I got to the nuclear power plant. And I was there for a week. And the only place to stay was this trucker's hotel on I-70. And I think I was the only person there who was not paying the hourly rate, if you know what I mean. And they had a buffet that was only brown food. It was okay brown food, chicken and meat and potatoes, and if there were vegetables, they were completely surrounded in cornmeal and deep fried. And I remember that the plates were actually cooking skillets, like cast iron, tang, cooking skillets. And I remember, like, by the 5th day, I was like, I would kill my dog for some broccoli. It was crazy. And yeah. So to make it even funnier, so here I am in Kansas, this little town, Beto, Kansas. And the next day, I'm going to leave in the morning. I'm going to jump on an airplane. I'm going to drive to Kansas City, jump on an airplane, fly down to Houston. From Houston, I'm going to immediately go down to Port Aransas, Texas, which is a popular fishing place, and we're going to go deep sea fishing. I barely had enough time to do anything. It was like barely going to make it. So while I'm in the middle of Kansas, I realize that I could probably use some Dramamine, seasick pills, right? So this is before you had a Walmart, and CVS didn't even exist back then, before you had a Walmart on every corner, right? So there was one little town there in Beto, Kansas, and it had one little pharmacy. And I remember going up to the pharmacy going, do you have Dramamine? And I just realized that that pharmacist had probably never once in his entire life sold any Dramamine in the middle of Kansas, right? But I didn't even think about it. He's staring at me. He goes, yeah. He goes, I got it. And he hands it to me, and he goes, son, these pills are almost expired. They're still good, but they're almost expired. Go ahead and take double the dosage. And here they are for free. I remember I had this little bottle of Dramamine that I bought, and I'll bet you that pharmacist for the next year was telling. And then this guy came in, and he needed Dramamine. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. So that was Beto, Kansas. One of my little fun stories there. Hey, Blue Lantern. Good to see you on board, man. As you can tell, we got a smaller crowd here today. Guys, keep telling folks about this. I had a great day today. I finally, for the first time in months, got to get deep into some research. I've been telling you guys I was starting to do virtual machines, and I really got to do some heavy push-ups on VMs. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed myself a lot studying about virtual machines, and in particular, Type 2 hypervisors for Linux-based systems. And it looks to be there's one huge winner called KVM, which I've never even played with before. So I'm pretty excited about that. And so it was a lot of fun. Just good old get in there, get dirty research. Had a good time. All right, guys. Dave Rush. Shift pedal fell off my car on Sunday riding out of Colorado. Stopped in Hayes and went through the junk pile behind a bike shop and found one. I will always have a soft spot in my heart for Hayes. Shift pedal fell off my... Oh, cow, as in Kawasaki. Oh, okay. I do not speak your motorcycle language so good, you know. Steve is IT. Hey, Steve. Getting hands-on is the best way to learn. It is. And in particular, the main thing I was doing was most of the research was just going online, checking stuff out, playing with that. I also did a really big... I really put ChatGPT. You can only do so much with virtual machines. I got kind of busy on ChatGPT today. I'm less impressed with it than I was before. It's good, but basically you're giving real basic AI with great language skills, access to a lot of encyclopedic data. It's not Wikipedia. It's tapping into something else. But it's like, okay, I can see. When did I start streaming evenings? This is, Dave, is this only the second time we've done it? I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. But we're going to be doing we're going to do a lot more advertising. Do keep in mind, guys, we're getting some people in here. Keep in mind that we have my man, Steve Nicholson, will be here next Wednesday. He's going to be running the show. I'm not sure exactly what topic, if any, or is it going to be open forum. We'll see how it goes. Guys, do keep in mind, Steve Nicholson is the SME, the guy passing the torch of A+ on to, and who will continue the fame and glory that is Total Seminars in terms of CompTIA training. But my goal here is that eventually we morph Wednesdays into more topical stuff. It doesn't have to be that way. Steve, you're on, so I know I can pick on you a little bit. And this is something you and I are going to have to communicate about, how we formed this. A big part of it for me would be, I would really like this to be your forum, where I drop in and say hello from time to time. But that is up to you, man. We'll see how that works on. Benjamin, hands-on is what helped me pass the A+. Built my own first PC. I can't say I built the first one. My first piece. The first PCs, they weren't even, the idea of building your own didn't quite exist yet. My absolute first PC was an IBM PC XT. That was my first PC. And I paid $2,200 for it or something like that. Oh, it was magical. It was a color monitor, green. I loved that thing. Then I upgraded to the CGA card and got a CGA monitor, 4 colors. Then I went to a PC AT, and from then it went nuts, and I just started home building at that point. I think it really needed Dell to come along before we started. Get Dell and Gateway. So it would be probably the mid-'80s before you started to see a lot of home building systems. And yeah. I have bought, when was the last time I bought a box system? I don't remember. It's been a long time. I've built, oh God. I don't think it's unfair to say that I have built thousands of systems. Thousands? 1,000 for sure. Yeah, I've built a bunch of boxes over the years. Hey DQ, glad you're doing evenings now. Yeah, this is a brand new thing, so we're going to start building it up, and we'll be doing good. Jeff Dunlap, where in the Philadelphia area? Hey Jeff, I used to live in Allentown. I used to date a couple of girls off the main line in Philly. Blue Lantern, Chat GPT isn't really AI. It's fully controlled algorithm. Yeah, I agree, Blue Lantern. I'm less enamored by Chat GPT. It's a powerful tool. Don't get me wrong. Downright amazing. I asked it some pretty interesting questions. I asked it, what would you attribute the main 3 reasons for the failure of the YB-49 flying wing? And it gave me good answers, stuff like that. But it was clever. Maven, I was going to ask Mike his thoughts. Well, you got my main thoughts. Let's see if AI can really start AIing. We forget how easy it is that large chunks of data combined with high-speed computing can often look awfully intelligent, where it's really kind of like what Blue Lantern says. The algorithm for ChatGPT was clearly written by the current woke nonsense of the day. Now, I'm not going to touch that one, man. It's maybe I don't ask it questions like that. I'm sticking with more history-type questions and stuff like that. Scott S., what is the point in which an algorithm becomes AI? I would say if it could consistently pass a Turing test, look up Turing, T-U-R-I-N-G. If it could consistently pass a Turing test for a broad cross-section of human beings, and by consistently, I don't know what that is. I'm not an expert on AI, so I don't want to, I can give you my old man opinion, and that's just about it. People are worried. Are our jobs soon obsolete? They have robots that can almost maneuver like us. No. And we actually talked about this on Monday. Is AI going to make jobs go away? AI is going to make some more mundane jobs go away. And hold on, Dave's got some information. I think that AI will make some mundane jobs go away. I'm not going to start my anti-remote work sermon again. We can save that. I got slammed on LinkedIn about that. I'm just anti-remote work. Let's save on that. But when your function in an organization becomes to the point where, one, you don't have to be at work. That, to me, don't physically have to be at work. That's a red flag. Anybody who holds a screwdriver in their hands has nothing to fear from AI. If you're in a truly creative job, graphics design, writing, presentation, instruction, good instruction, I don't think you have anything to worry about AI. What I do think the people who need to worry about AI are the people who, A, their job isn't creative, they're processing, and two, their presence isn't physically required. I think those are two of the big warning signs that you might be eventually replaced by AI. Like, for example, it surprises me that AI hasn't already eliminated accounting. Not bookkeeping. The day-to-day bookkeepers are always going to be busy because they're the ones that have to read the paper receipts and all that. But it would seem to me one place where AI could really make a big difference would be in accounting, because it has very established rule sets. Now, most of my friends are CPAs. I understand. My daughter is a CPA, okay? I'm not saying every form of accountancy is in danger, but the more I learn about accounting, the more I realize is that I don't know why a computer isn't already taking over that. Tolowit, wait, I failed the Turing test. I believe that. Can I post pictures on Discord, Dave? They aren't inappropriate. Yeah, you can post pictures there. Well, they already have some degree of, Tolowit was asking AI in games for NPCs. I believe they already have some degree of AI, primarily in pathfinding and handling reactivity to threats, you know, when the bad guys see you and how they duck and things like that based on where they're physically located, and some degree of randomization. I think The Last of Us is kind of famous for its good AI. Super Elmar 64. Why am I getting Detroit Become Human vibes from talking about AI? Because, you know, because it's happening. It is happening. Dave Rush wanted to let you guys know, in related news, they just created a paid tier to use ChatGPT. I have not seen that. The operators of ChatGPT have released the first attempt of an AI to detect if documents were created by AI. So I actually did, one of the things I did today, when I was asking it to write out these basically like 1,500 word essays, I ran it through what do you call it? English, Mike. When you copy other people's work, that is called plagiarism. There you go. I ran it through some plagiarism software and it didn't pop. Because I was convinced the way it was writing that it was like referencing Wikipedia articles or stuff like that. And it's not. And I intentionally picked a very specific topic, which was an experimental bomber after World War II called the YB-49 Flying Wing. Fascinating story built by Northrop. You should read about it. It's kind of interesting. And why do none exist anymore today? And if you ever get a chance, read it. But anyway, I knew if I picked a very specific topic like that, that there would only be a certain number of popular sources that would answer that. So I was able to like eyeball Wikipedia, Encyclopedia Britannica, a couple of other online sources for aviation, and nothing popped there. And then I ran it through the plagiarism checker and nothing popped. So the AI seems to be writing original stuff as best as my quick search can say. Yes, can I get an AI beat the IRS? Yeah. Yeah, taxes, what fun. All right, Steve. Wait a minute. Am I missing a question here? I guess I did. Mike, I have been in help desk for 2 years, career change, and went to advanced, but I don't test well. I failed CompTIA exams by a couple points each time. Can I ever advance without certs? You can. You absolutely can. You don't have to have certs. As I've told people a million times, the only thing a certification does is it gets you in the door. It puts your resume towards the top of a stack. That's all they do. They get you through the HR departments. That's what they do. Nobody is going to look at your A+ certification and instantly assume you have all that knowledge. That's the technical interviews that are going to actually test for that. So you can do that. But just, there's a lot of reasons that people don't test well. And Jeff, I don't want to put any of these on you. Obviously, I don't know you. But ADD is often a big problem. Dyslexia, have you had your eyes checked? There's a lot of little things that most of the time when I hear somebody say they don't test well, it's because either they've not tested well previously, or it's something physical, or it's something fixable, that will allow you to test well. And I don't want to get into a big deal on this, but going to a doctor, I know, don't laugh at me, but going to a doctor and say, I don't test well, and I want to make sure there's nothing physiologically wrong with me, check me out. I have seen a lot of people get over that hump very, very quickly. A pair of glasses, a little bit of training, dyslexia training, cognitive behavioral therapy procedures. There's all kinds of stuff that the word I don't test well can often be fixed. It's worth a shot to give it a try. And whatever else that Steve says, he's got lots of good ideas too. Steve's been teaching a long, long time. Scott S., can AI please just do my tax return? Unfortunately, the tax preparing agency, the tax preparing companies have too much lobby here on the U.S. Congress, and we could have turned taxes into, you think about like people's basic taxes. The IRS already knows what you owe for taxes, but you still have to fill out your own form, get the taxes. Now, somebody like me who's old and has too much money, yeah, mine get complicated, and I can understand that. But for regular people, you should just get a form that says, you owe this much. If you agree, pay it. If you don't agree, fill out a 1040. That's how it should be, but it's not. Super Omar. Omar, all we've been doing is talking about ChatGPT, brother. I think it's a very interesting toy, and I think it opens our eyes to what AI can eventually be. Jay Ramos. AI the future with dogs and robots. Stop MIT and all the Boston leagues. I'm not sure. I got some Red Sox fans who might challenge you on that one, man. Benjamin, do you think GPT AI could be used as an asset for text? Absolutely. I think one of the more important things is that processing of error codes is just ridiculous. I mean, we've been doing this for years, right? So you get some error code. You're trying to diagnose an Exchange server, and you get an error code. And you look up the error code, and you have to go to Microsoft, and Microsoft beautifully never answers what the error code is. And instead, there ought to be AI which could actually go out and scrape for examples of error codes, generate in real time potential fixes and even volunteer to make those fixes, that doesn't seem that far-fetched. That would seem to me to be a great way to use AI. I remember before the internet, when you had to really research. Before the internet, guys, researching computer problems, we used these things called books. Big, thick, they were called, IBM called them the color books. The orange books and the blue books and the red books. And there were these big books, and they would have like Gantt charts in the front. You know, this, just to diagnose problems. And at a level of simplicity that's 1/50th of what it is today. And I remember when the internet started kicking in, and we started to see a few people putting up bulletin boards, real ugly first generation stuff. And I remember people getting mad. And they're thinking, well, that's the end of technicians. With this internet, all you have to do is look up an error code and you get the answer. You know, we won't have a job by the time 1994 rolls around. No one's going to have jobs. Yeah. I can see people complaining about AI and saying, well, you know, once the AI has got all this, we're not going to need technicians. Yeah, well, for some reason, we're still here fixing printers. I don't know what it is. Okay, guys, do keep in mind that the whole reason we're here is for me to answer questions you have. That's why we're here. So we've started here at 7 o'clock Central Time, and we will go until 8 o'clock Central Time or until the questions run out. So right now we're a little chatty, and that's great, but do keep in mind why I'm here, all right? So just keep that stuff running. You're more than, if you want to keep talking about ChatGPT, that's fine too. Do keep in mind, though, that we have a wonderful Discord channel. The Mike Meyers unofficial Discord channel. Dave, what's your name? Dave Rush. Okay. Dave Rush has already put a link up there into the chat. If you haven't already, please join the Discord channel. It's a great place, especially if you really need more of a two-way conversation. You're going to see lots of good folks in there. Dave Rush is in there a lot of times. Tolwit's in there a lot of times. My buddy Andre's in there a ton. Lots of folks are. It's a great place, and you should join it. Especially if you need more two-way communication. Here, you can post a question and I can answer it, and that's about it. Yeah, right. You guys have some kind of side conversation here going. Pardon the wave, about to study the Network Plus. Go for it, man. I love Network Plus. I really do. For me, that's like, most of the time when people take the A+, they've usually got at least some amount of interest into it, and they've probably already picked up a screwdriver. I would say 80% of the people who take an A+ class have a motivational interest in systems and have picked up a screwdriver. Is that still true? Maybe it's not quite that high anymore. But with Network Plus, you get a lot of people in there who they have network experience, but because they don't understand the underlying protocols really, and they don't understand the underlying tools built into operating systems, they don't really know how to look at, you know, and manipulate. But the thing I always tell people when I'm teaching any form of technology is that you've got to find the hatch to open up and show people stuff. If you don't do that, it can be very, very frustrating. And I don't think network tools, especially command line network tools for any operating system, are intuitive, and it can be challenging. I would say that's not true for system tools. I mean, using device manager, you know, using disk manager, I'm thinking Windows here more than anything else. Those tools are graphical, and you can find them relatively easy by drilling down through the control panel or through system. But I don't think it's as true for networking. We'll see. Okay, guys, do keep in mind that just because you were nice enough, Jeff Dunlap. Hello, speaking of books, I think you could use Mike's A+ books to do arm curls at the gym. Hey, we've slimmed down. This is This is the latest version, just came out. Here's the original A+ book, almost 20 years old. About the same. They're using thinner paper. Yeah, but you could, yeah, it's a good, it's a 4-pound book. Okay, guys, do keep in mind that just because you're nice enough to show up here today, as always, we give the amazing offer of our bundle. You can pick of any of our products. You can pick the ebook, let's say Network Plus. You can get the Network Plus ebook and the Network Plus practice questions, what we call the Total Tester. You can get those combined, bundled for 50% off. Take advantage of this offer. Just head over to www.totalsem.com. Tell them, no, don't tell them anything. Just head over to the merchant area, put like the Network Plus ebook and the Network Plus Total Tester, that's what we call it, into your cart. And just before you check out, type in WORLD, W-O-R-L-D, hit enter, and you get it half off. It's an amazing deal, and you really need to take advantage of it. Another big scroll. Oh yeah, do keep in mind that our next info session for CyberNow Labs is coming up February 4th. Dave has a link for it. If you've been thinking about doing this, we've given a $500 discount from your tuition. We've got some great people coming in. Keep in mind that we had, you need to check out the video we did with Edgar Salinas last week. Edgar, you may know him. He's from this, from this live stream. He's one of our oldie goldies. Edgar took the plunge, jumped in, took the course, and like a week after he graduated, he got a job. Now, he actually started looking for a job even before he graduated. Smart guy, but he did it. We're also going to have Mike Liebert on. Mike's going to be coming on, when's Mike Liebert? February 22nd. Mike's another guy who has showed up here quite a bit. So, you know, I'm intentionally getting people from the Ask Mike Anything live stream to come on and talk about their success. And then, of course, keep in mind, my man Steve Nicholson will be here on Wednesday. He'll be on YouTube on Wednesday. Steve, you and I haven't even talked if you want me on or not. Oh, I can't be on. I'm actually giving a speech in North Shore Community College in Hammond, Louisiana. Don't laugh about these Southern community colleges, man. They are job pumping machines. So I'll be talking to about 700 to 800 high school students. And my topic's going to be, so you want to be in IT and you've graduated from high school. Now what the hell are you going to do? So it's going to be fun. Yeah, Steve, you're on your own on the 8th. So I'm going to leave that for Steve to let you guys know what's going to be happening there. Scott S., do you think there is a bad first job in IT? I got picked up for a 4-month contract. It sounds like it'll be just replacing old hardware with new. Okay. No, Scott, there's no such thing as a bad first job. Also, all of the first jobs are bad, okay? It is normal and good and proper for in your first 2 years to jump around 2, 3, 4 jobs. That's normal. People expect that. After a couple of years, you know, you want to be settling in and finding the more kind of job, the better kind of rate and all that kind of stuff. But at first, the most important thing you can have in IT is work experience. People don't panic that much about what kind of work experience as long as it's in IT and you got something on your resume that shows that. It's important. Do it, especially when you first jump in. Steve Beck, I can't read the damn screen. Steve Beckham. Speaking of CyberNow Labs, I signed up for the April class since it opened up for enrollment. Good for you, Steve. Steve, man, I want to see you succeed. I want to see you kick some rear end and take some names, and I want to put, and 6 months from now, I want to be interviewing you on here with your success. Because, you know, the thing I got to tell everybody is, you know, first of all, do understand, guys, I am an investor in CyberNow Labs. I have a financial interest in the success of this company. So that's transparency. The reason I invested in CyberNow Labs is because it is a killer program. It is a career accelerator. It's hard work. It's really hard work. Don't do it unless you're prepared to put in the time. You will work in the evenings. You will work on the weekends. Just kiss your girlfriend or significant other on the forehead and say, I got to hit this, man. And you hit it. And that's where the people succeed. I discovered that in one of our cohorts that like a big percentage of people just never even showed up. They never showed up. Why would you put money into something like this and never show up? Like ever. I mean, what's going on? I don't get it. I don't get it. Then you call them up and they're like, oh yeah, well, you know, my dog died. And it's like, yeah, I don't get it. So anyway, Steve, that's fantastic. Welcome aboard. I really look forward to having you here on the AMA as you tell us about your great successes too. Kyle Howard, when will Windows 11 be a huge roll into A+ certification? Never. If you actually read the 220, 1101, and 1102 objectives, I have this listed in the book. It actually says, let me pull this up for you. Give me a second. Give me a second. I just realized my book was on the keyboard, and I'm just waiting. Did I like shut off the stream or something? Okay, we didn't. Okay, this is directly from the CompTIA objectives. Notes on Windows 11. Versions of Microsoft Windows that are not at the end of mainstream support as determined by Microsoft up to and including Windows 11 are intended content areas for that certification. As such, objectives in which a specific version of Microsoft Windows is not indicated in the main objective title can include content related to Windows 10 and Windows 11 as it refers to the job role. You want me to interpret that for you? It means we're not going to ask very specific questions about exactly Windows 10 or exactly Windows 11. That's what they mean. All right? So don't even think about this anymore. You're not going to get a question that says, what buttons do you click to get to control panel? Those are long gone. It might ask you what disk management does, but that's absolutely identical in 10 or 11. It might ask you about, system startup, but that's absolutely identical in 10 or 11. So the idea of having to study between two versions of Windows doesn't even make sense anymore. If you study Windows 11, you'll do fine. If you study Windows 10, you'll do fine. Thus speaks Mike Meyers. I'm going to mark that thing because you're not the first person to ask that question. Speaking of CyberNow, okay, that's Steve. Good. Scott S. Do you think there's a bad first job? And no, we got that one too. Look at me. Big scroll. Steve IT, you're going to roll solo next Wednesday. Okay, man. Steve, I need a picture of you. I really do. I need like a nice picture. I'm going to do some big advertising blasts on LinkedIn for you for next Wednesday. So, Steve, send me a picture. Seriously. A nice picture. I literally heard Steve Nicholson in my brain going, oh, I'll send you a picture, buddy. Yeah, no tutus, okay? I'm studying for Net Plus now, the video course, and now I'm chapter 4 book. And I got to say, plenty of light bulbs and aha moments. That's what I tell everybody. That's what Network Plus is all about, man. Network Plus, every time I've taught that class, people go, so that's what 192, 168 means. Oh, that's why I get a 169, 250. Oh, that's what ports do. Yeah, I agree, man. I love teaching Network Plus. Blue Lantern, you're doing fine, man. Don't worry about it. You interact plenty. Kyle Howard, got it. Looking forward to finishing your course in Texas Spring. Cool. All right. No foul. Okay. Steve, I wasn't going there. I was just said tutu. Syed Hussein, hello, Mike. Is Citrix the same as cloud? No. Citrix is a company that makes a number of different types of softwares. The cloud is a flower dying in the desert. Okay, now, sorry. Star Trek reference. Citrix is a company that's been around now for close to 40 years. Citrix got its claim to fame by making basically graphical remote terminal software. It started years ago with what was called Citrix WinFrame. Citrix has moved on way beyond that. It certainly does have cloud support, but Citrix is a company that sells remote control software. That's what they do. How that control manifests, you have a nice graphical screen that your mouse works and everything. The actual computer itself, it could be next door, it could be up in the cloud, it could be anywhere. Citrix doesn't care. As long as it has an IP address, you're there. The cloud is just resources of virtual machines up in the internet someplace. So when most people talk about what, in fact, my definition, there's arguments against it, okay? But I think I get the core of it. Out in the world, there are companies like Amazon who have huge data farms, massive data farms full of computers. And these computers are running virtual machines. And what's important is that virtual machines have been around now for 50 years. Even on old mainframes, you had virtual machines. But the big difference, and what to me makes a cloud, is you can go to a web page on Amazon and say, I would like to spin up a computer. And it goes, okay. And it says, how much RAM do you want? What kind of CPU do you want? You know, and the bigger the CPU or the more CPUs or the more RAM, the more per month it charges. And you go click, 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 that's what I want. And it goes, okay, what kind of operating system do you want? Do you want these 7 types of Linux? You want Windows? You want Windows Server? Blah, 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 blah. And you go, I want that one. Click. All right. And then it assumes that you want a static IP address. And then it's like, do you want a DNS name associated with it? Yes. And you click, click, click. So what I'm telling you is that the cloud are these companies that generate self-creating virtual machines. You don't have to pay somebody to spin up the virtual machine for you and then to email you the IP address. You do it yourself through your own interface. To me, that's what the cloud is. Other people would argue the cloud is just any computer that you don't know where it's physically located, ergo the cloud. That's why we use the word the cloud, because we don't care where the computer is. It's behind a cloud. I don't care if the computer's in Platte, North Dakota, or if it's in Jacksonville, Florida, or Honolulu, Hawaii. That's for you, Tolit. I don't care. So arguably, when I type in www.google.com and I hit enter, I'm on the cloud because I'm certainly accessing a virtual machine. I assure you that there is no web server left on Earth that's on bare iron anymore. They're all in virtual machines, all running VMware or KVM or, you know, Google has their own, Amazon has their own virtualization software, hypervisors. So to me, that's what the cloud is. So when you say Citrix, which is just a company that makes remote control software, versus the cloud, that doesn't make sense to me. Woo! Boy, you asked me a question, I'd tell you how to build a clock, right? Wait, that didn't work. Mike is so talkative. If you ask him what time it is, he'll tell you how to build a clock. There we go. DQ, when are you doing a stream on VPNs? We've already done one. Just go into the Total Seminars channel and search for VPN. And we've done some good ones, forward versus reverse VPNs and stuff like that. I think you would like it. Jeff Dunlap, Mike, I tend to dive into too many learning courses at once. Stop doing that. Is it worth the time to get a cert of completion on places like Coursera or LinkedIn Learning? Sure. Hey, Jeff, certificates of completion are not going to get you a job, okay? You're going to have accredited certifications like CompTIA or Cisco or Microsoft certifications. If you are going through a Coursera course, and you have gleaned the information to the point where you are satisfied, and then you want to stop, go ahead and stop. The certificate, there's only two reasons to learn, right? You want to learn because you want to gain this knowledge as a personal satisfaction because you're interested in aviation and you want to learn about the Northrop YB-49 bomber, or you want to get a job. To me, those are the two big ones. And you're not going, that certificate of completion is not going to give you a job. So if you've got the information you want, go ahead and stop. But Jeff, I would consider, you know, I'm an Asperger-y guy, so I tend to stick with one topic and I just beat the bejeezers out of it as opposed to bouncing around. Unless I'm on YouTube. I got to tell you, man, you guys have heard this thing like people who get on Reddit too much or people who get on YouTube too much and things like that, that you get what's called the social echo chamber, that as these programs, this web browser, no, what is YouTube? What is it? A big pile of videos. But YouTube is watching your preferences. And as it begins feeding you your preferences to the point where it's like the only thing you think exists is what you see on YouTube. And you end up staying in your room late at night, not getting a tan, and getting weird and starting to troll on subreddits for no reason. Most of the time when I run into what I call angry young men, and there's a lot of us out there, I include myself, is that it doesn't take me too long to figure out that you have got yourself into an echo chamber and you don't know how to get out. I mean, people who slam Trump too hard, people who slam Biden too hard, people who slam the U.S. military, people who slam ChatGPT, people who aren't listening to the other side of the conversation invariably are these types of people. Where am I going with this? What was the question asked? Oh, so the drill down thing. Yeah. When it comes to learning, try to concentrate on one topic until you've got some kind of certificate or you have satisfied your level of knowledge. Hey, Catherine LeGland, good to see you, babe. Long Hamburger. Which certification of the triad, A+, Net+, Security+, would you say you enjoyed the most? Network Plus, not even a question mark. And I like all three of them. It would be, I like Network Plus the most, followed closely by A+, followed by Security+. In terms of just joy, you got to keep in mind, I don't have the benefit of good training materials when I get first exposed to some of these certifications. And A+ is a super mature certification. And I would like to think that I helped force that, starting with the CPU and building the computer around it, method of learning about that technology. I don't know if you've noticed, but you go this far in my book before we even start talking about Windows. We do an overview on what an operating system is right at the beginning, but you know, it takes us a while to get there. So we got that pathway. With Network Plus, you again have this wonderful, you know, if you start with what a packet is, and then you quickly move into the OSI 7-layer model and use that as a tool for learning, I find Network Plus to be wonderful and intuitive. Security Plus has no path. If this table right here that I'm staring at is all the knowledge that is IT security, just take some salt and go into a salt shaker and put just a few little crystals and then throw it down and it just bounces randomly. That's the Security Plus. Security Plus should be called Survey of IT Security, in my opinion, because it touches on a million little topics just a little bit. And I like Security Plus. I think it's a wonderful certification that helps you kind of get into the zeitgeist of what IT security / cybersecurity means. But it was a hard book for me to make a table of contents on because I'm so interested. I like to tell a story. I mean, if you ever read my books, you kind of tell I'm telling a story. I want to make a page turner. That's why I put so many graphics in my books. I like pictures. And that's very hard to do with Security Plus. Even the folks at CyberNow Labs disagree with the way I teach Security Plus, which is fine. Nelson Rodriguez, how do I detect if there is either a keylogger in my computer or some undetected access? So Nelson, you're asking two completely separate things. Keyloggers are particularly notorious to detect because a true keylogger is a hardware device, and those can be challenging to detect. I am unaware of any software that can check for keyloggers. What determines a keylogger is you look on your system. And if you got a little thing that you plug in your keyboard, then there's this little thing, and then that plugs into your USB port, that's probably a keylogger. Are there USB devices that are always plugged in? You got to look at those. And people can put keyloggers in the most nefarious places, So that's one thing. Other than that, if you're talking about undetected access, so if it's not hardware, then obviously it's software. On the software side, we're in pretty good shape. Depending on what your operating system is, there's always good anti-malware tools out there. I live and breathe on Windows Defender, and I've had very good success with it. Syed Hussein, hey Syed, pardon the wave. Currently in help desk, what path do you think I should take to get a boost in pay? I don't mind taking on more responsibilities, but do you recommend getting any cert? Yeah, okay, pardon the way. The problem here, bud, is I don't know you, all right? So you're going to, sorry all you guys, you have to hear this again. Pardon the way, what's your passion? What do you find yourself gravitated to in the world of IT? Are you find yourself playing with networking? Do you find yourself checking out cybersecurity sites? Are you interested in configuring routers? I mean, what are you doing? What are you spontaneously doing? Because you're doing something. And keep in mind, it doesn't always have to be technical. Maybe you find yourself like really being empathetic with people while you're talking to them, and you find other help desk people are coming to you because you're having better success. Then we're talking about, becoming a trainer and things like that. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. I'm not going to tell you what certifications to get. Get A+, Net+, Security+. That's always a good triad to get started, but you got to follow your passions, and I can't tell you how to do that. Steve is IT. There would be no CompTIA Plus without Mike Meyers. Sometimes I think that's true. I was around 20 years ago, and it was barely hanging on by a thread. I like CompTIA's A+. I believe in what it does. There was more than one time where I was, especially back in the old days, I'm like, I'm just going to start my own certification. Thank God I never did that. Ali, you had a question at 7:43. Goodness, I missed it. Got called by one of my clients to upgrade their office PCs from Win 7 to Win 10. The client is using NAS for file sharing with Samba 1. Okay. Samba 1, really? Okay. I'm positive Samba 1 has some security flaws. It does. And maybe that's why it's disabled in Win 10 by default. In your opinion, Mike, what is an alternative, more secure solution? What's the current version of Samba? It's been up to and it's a fairly easy upgrade. One moment, please. There we go. Yeah, the current release of Samba is 4.17. So the fact that you're using Samba 1 surprises me. And your client needs to upgrade. And the upgrade is not that painful. I don't remember. Samba 1 and Samba 2 had a number of security issues. I can't list them for you. But the answer is what is an alternative, more secure solution? Upgrade the version of Samba. Hey, if they really got money, put a Windows Server in there. Woohoo! That costs a little bit. Samba's free, but that would be the thing I'd tell you. Yes, Samba 1 came out in 1992. Samba 2 came out in 1999. You're running a very old version of Samba, dude. There you go, Dave. Samba 4.18. Dave, I was looking on Wikipedia. I wasn't actually going to the source. Yeah, you need to upgrade the Samba badly. The only things that are going to support that is number one, good God. If it's just used for file sharing, I'd be tempted to just use another Windows 10 system as a file server. It depends on, you can only have 20 computers hooking up to it. Yeah, I'd have to have a lot more questions answered before I could completely answer that for you. All right, guys, it looks like the questions are running out. Blue Lantern, my passion is data. I'm hoping for one day to tell you I've gotten certified in cloud data and data plus. That's great. Blue Lantern, you should be taking a look at like a Python course. The reason I want you to look at a Python course is not so much that you need to learn Python. Everybody knows a little Python. But what would be more important is you should take a look at, like I know CyberNow Labs has a Python course. I hate to say it. If you register for the upcoming info session, I think they're throwing in a free Python course by my buddy Dart Williams. It's a great course, but the reason I'm telling you, Blue Lantern, it might be good for you is because it's not so much just a Python course. What it's more interested in, it has you learning how to connect with databases and using SQL commands. And so you're connecting to MySQL, you're connecting to Panda, and actually accessing databases. It's a fascinating course. And for a 5-day intro course, it's pretty impressive. What are some of your favorites for keeping up with IT news? Any favorite podcasts? Oh, Scott, I got a bunch of them. Honestly, what I've been using more than anything else lately, where'd it go? It's probably not even going to show up on this system. I have different aggregators. What is that super famous one? I can't believe I look at it. See, this is not the system I look at my stuff up on, so I'm a little bit of a minor discount. Bear with me just a minute. Oh, come on, Mike. Illy, Willy, Billy. Oh, here it is. Feedly. So probably what I use more than anything else is Feedly. Let me show this to you guys. I'm sure I've shown this to y'all before. So this is Feedly. This is the free version. It works just fine. And you can see these are most of the podcasts and reports that blogs, podcasts, and different reports that I use. It's just it's an RSS aggregator plus a lot more. Feedly. Feedly. Check that out. And there's a bazillion literally thousands of different sources in there to check out. Am I back now? Okay. Hey, Kevin Travers. Good to see you. And bye. It's all good. All right, guys. Look, I am out of here. Man, please keep showing up on Wednesday evenings. Really, really appreciate having you guys on board. Keep in mind that we got Steve Nicholson's going to be right here. Well, not physically right here. He'll be in the comfort of his house. He says Florida, but I think he's in an underground volcano someplace. Anyway, he'll be here next Wednesday. I'll be back on Monday. And until then, this is your little Uncle Mikey saying bye-bye. Bye, kids.